Hey everyone, it's Carrie Merriam. Welcome and thank you so much for being here to Embodied Enlightenment. I have Alyse Speyer next to me, a brilliant yogini, meditation coach, inspire, creator, writer. There's so many things that you do, but currently right now she's working at Mindvalley. And if you don't know who Mindvalley is, go and check them out. They're an incredible company that is uplifting the consciousness of the world. And Alyse is supporting that through author relations and success. Alyse, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me, Carrie. I'm really excited to hash things out with you.
Yeah, and today we're talking about how to get out of your head and into your body, which is so important because I don't know about you guys out there listening, but there are days where I am inundated with thoughts that really create so much anxiety and so much stagnation, where I'm so caught up within my thought patterns, I actually can't move forward and take action in my life. So I would love to get your insights on that and what that experience has been for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually quite a common thing. Part of my journey was when I was working in Silicon Valley in technology doing marketing. I burned out, and simply because I wasn't paying attention to where my thoughts and my body were moving. It's almost as if my thoughts were moving in one direction and my body in another. And when I kind of came to yoga and meditation and breath work and subsequently personal development and coaching, I found out that really how you move is how you breathe. And if you're not paying attention to that conscious breath throughout your day, it really pauses your thought process and your ability to be productive or even take action on the things that you want. And when you notice your breath, you can see it's short and shallow, or you're talking fast, it's nervous. It's triggering your nervous system and your body that something is wrong. And this can be as a result of stress from work, or it could be you're being chased by something. That's how humans were originally had that instinct of move, breathe faster, move faster. Yeah. But in context of modern society, breathing faster can actually be paralyzing if you're not able to, it's not meant for running. It's not meant for actual critical thinking. It's meant for getting your body to move.
Yeah.
So if we can take a moment to pause and slow down our breath, it puts us back into our body and back into our source and back into the way we want to actually move consciously toward our goals, towards our passion, or being more productive, or just simply more grounded.
I love that, because we get so caught up in the everyday existence of life. And we are, so many of us just simply aren't breathing enough. So if you're feeling really fatigued, it's usually because you're not taking enough breath in. You're not inhaling long enough. Or if you're feeling really stressed out and kind of floating up in the clouds, really scattered, you're probably not taking a long enough exhale. You're not grounding into the space. So presence and breath is so vital to our existence, to just be happy, healthy, whole individuals and really continue to be back in the now and recognize what's unfolding right now in front of you.
Absolutely. And I love the way you put that, because it's definitely true. There's the inhale and the exhale. And what's really interesting about breathing is that there's a pause at the top and the bottom. And it's a really good metaphor for life, because you can go hard, inhale, and you're moving fast, really taking the breath in, and then pause, and it's your little plateau. And you can experience this in a relationship, at the gym, in your day job, in your side project or your hobbies. And then, you have the fall or the exhale or the release. It doesn't necessarily have to be a fall. And then another pause as you ramp back up again. So noticing that life comes in these cycles is a really good reminder of how you can get into your body. Movement really helps too, shaking it out, just pattern interrupting yourself so that you can, when you find those triggers that gets you in your head, just do something different.
I love it. So I wanted to bring back the original concept that you were connecting with the audience about how our body is not necessarily associated to how we're breathing. And that is so prevalent in your posture. So a really great tip and tool I wanted to offer you guys is just check in with your posture right now. How are you standing and how are you breathing? Because if you're slouched over, if your shoulders are rounded, typically your breath is going to be much shorter, much more shallow. And because of that, it's going to create more anxiety, more stress, because you're not, again, having proper elongation of the inhale and exhale and allowing things to relax and open up and expanding and contracting the diaphragm. But I wanted to get your thoughts around posture and breath and how that can kind of coexist together and also incorporate more movement in the body to get people out of their head.
Absolutely. And that's a very valid point. As I mentioned earlier, at one point in my life, I felt my body was going in one direction and my brain and my thoughts were going in a different one. And that alignment is super important. And there's a reason for that with your posture. And as Carrie mentioned, when you're collapsing in on your shoulders and your chest, when you're slouching, when you're hunched over your desk, not only are you uncomfortable, maybe not necessarily consciously uncomfortable, but your body is uncomfortable. It's triggering signs to the rest of you that this is not a good space to be in. You're also unapproachable. So if you run a business, or if you have employees or friends and you're just hunched over, I don't know, maybe eating Cheetos over your laptop.
Or kale.
Or kale. Then it also triggers that energy to other people that, hey, I'm too busy for you right now, come back later. When really, in actuality, a lot of times we need those people to come and approach us. Hey, what can I take off your plate? What can I help you with? Do you want to share those kale chips with me, or something like this? And so having that breath, and there's a way to exit your body and be in your thoughts and go through that in a positive way, and that's manifestation. When you allow yourself to leave your body to go and seek the next level. But what we often do is we often do it unconsciously. And I'm a super, super prone to this as well. So this is why body work and posture work is really important for me, because it really allows me to connect into my body. And as I breathe deeper, and there's a lot of concepts with breath of, projecting your breath, belly breath, all this stuff. It's really just the same. We want a complete full breath into our lungs. Our shoulders drop down and back, our chest lifts, our lower back maintains the natural curve, which usually we try to avoid bending it forward. We actually want that natural curve. And it really allows us to have our muscles more relaxed, and therefore our thoughts. So you can activate the brain to activate the body, or you can activate the body to activate the brain. So it's a little bit of an infinity loop there.
I love that. And it's so important. Sometimes we search on the internet to help eliminate our thought patterns. And what we're doing is actually inviting more cognitive stimulus. So we're searching, like, how do I eliminate thoughts? How do I get out of my head? How do I turn down my monkey mind on Uncle Google, right? We're searching and we're looking for all of these things, but the only thing that will actually allow you to get out of your head is yourself. And it's so connected and correlated with how you are in your body and your breath. So it's about developing that relationship and cultivating that dance and exchange. So I love that tips about posture. Do you have any other tips where individuals can get out of their head, really quickly?
Absolutely. And a lot of students of mine have asked, like, well, how do I get the thoughts to stop? Or, they're searching in Google as well. The best way is to die, because we don't want our brain or our thoughts to stop. And so we don't want to be confronted with death, because that's where our thoughts are running toward, because there's a fear there. Instead, it's an acceptance and acknowledgement of those thoughts, that they're always going to occur. And the best tip is to really just observe them. See if you can be a passenger, and then choose whether or not you want to follow that thought pattern. And it helps to keep your feet in the earth. Walk barefoot as often as you can, be in nature, go for walks, get away from Google and the internet, maybe have an hour where your phone's on airplane mode. Where you're not
turn your phone off.
Turn off your devices, and use your brain. Put your brain to an activity of sorts. Maybe that activity is simply looking and being extremely present at the scenery that you're looking at, or maybe being very present with a pen and paper or whatever, or a conversation, and notice how much you can feel your body as you're listening or communicating with other people, even yourself.
Thank you so much for offering those tips. And it is, again, just to reiterate some of the things that you're saying, that we always have our thoughts. I think that there's this misconception in meditation that you're trying to completely abandon your thoughts. And it's not. It's a marriage. It's a union. When you start these practices, if you're not already, you'll start to recognize that there are two of you. There really are. There's probably way more than two of you, but ever so present is there's the individual that's talking within your head, and then there is who you are at the core of yourself. And instead of trying to vanquish that thought, you can come into this beautiful relationship with it, and you can start to steer your thoughts in a direction that will allow you to be more healthy and vibrant and excited about the life that you are living. So I'm so appreciative of your tips. Is there anything else that you wanted to offer to our audience or tell about what you're doing in your life?
Yeah, just one other tip is simply just be patient with the process, because it's a challenge. It's not easy to kind of navigate and negotiate around your thoughts and in your body. And sometimes the body is not a comfortable place to be in, especially if there's trauma associated. So the number one thing is to just be patient with yourself as you go through this process of observing your thoughts, observing your body and your movements, and having that deeper acceptance. I know I went through my own journey with that through both professional and personal, and it's really empowering when you start to look at your progress and just know that, hey, today is going to be different, and I have that control, I have that choice, and it's just as simple as noticing my own breathing.
Yeah, you're on your way. We're all on your way. Well, thank you so much. Again, everyone, thank you so much for joining Embodied Enlightenment. If you like this podcast, please go to iTunes, leave me a feedback, and leave me some messages of what you thought about the conversation today and what you would like to connect more about.